I don't really like this match, so I'm gonna do this. CM Punk! CM Punk! Shut up! It's annoying when that happens, isn't it? And you're trying to enjoy a wrestling show, but it just proves the enduring legacy of one CM Punk and what he did way back in 2011. I've still got the... Why did no one tell me? And that's why now people all around the world are screaming that Kevin Owens may be the new CM Punk, given everything that happened on this week's episode of SmackDown. Let's just be honest, let's call a spade a spade. There was just a little bit of the voice of the voiceless about it. And I know the naysayers are already out there going, oh, it's nothing like it. Why are we trying to tie this in? It's ridiculous. Okay, I get it. I know you're here anyway. You see this title and you get mad and you come in, I'll do your work for you. You're a bald asshole, you know nothing about wrestling, also you're a shite wrestler. There you go, it's out there now. But given the state of WWE, there is an opportunity to capitalize on this. And that's why WWE may just be about to make Kevin Owens the new CM Punk. Did that wrong. Why? I hit myself twice. Here's why. Yeah, I know. Let's not make Kevin Owens the new CM Punk and let's make him the first Kevin Owens. I understand that and you do have a point, but let's not pretend that within 20 minutes on this week's episode of SmackDown, Kevin Owens didn't enjoy himself to millions of people across the world just by saying things we've all been saying to each other for around about 72 years. Focused on Shane McMahon's utter ridiculous domination of the product over the last few months, Kevin Owens took a microphone and absolutely ran WWE down because of this, especially because back in December we had all the McMahons in the ring saying they were sorry and that they were going to start listening to the fan base. And ever since then, I don't think they've heard a damn word that anybody said. I mean, the result was just putting Shane O'Mac on TV time and time again, as KO also brought up. And he carried on by saying, when you do that, you take away television time from Buddy Murphy, from Ali, from Kairi Sane, from Oscar, from Apollo Crews, and you just can't argue with it. It's a fact. He also ran down McMahon's ludicrous best in the world, and how that's an insult to everybody in the locker room, and at that point, his microphone was cut off. And let's not pretend that was just some happy accident. That was absolutely by design. You were meant to remember the pipe bomb. And by no means am I saying that this was as impactful before we start beating that drum. When CM Punk went on his big tirade, WWE was a very different place, but also he did it first. And if you are the person to do it before anybody else, that's always going to create more waves because it feels new, it feels fresh, it feels exciting. You can also bring up the issue that yes, now that we're doing this, we do have some kind of ironical paradox, because if Kevin Owens is going to say this stuff about Shane McMahon, he's likely going to start a feud with Shane McMahon, and the end result of that is more television time with Shane McMahon. But that's when this new era of WWE comes into play, and where once again, I cross both my fingers and hope. Up to this stage, with everything we know, you could have kind of predicted everything that would have gone down too. I mean, Kevin Owens and Shane would have gone into a program, it would have culminated at SummerSlam, and Kevin Owens would have won, although who knows anymore, given what we've seen recently. At the core though, this would have just been a way to fill a few weeks and have some fun, and that's fine. I like being entertained, but I don't think we're in a position where we can just muck around with this kind of stuff anymore. When you do that, there is no discernible change. If there's no discernible change, you can't figure out what direction we're going to go in, meaning doing something like that is utterly empty. It's like Undertaker's heart. I'm not saying he has an empty heart, I'm saying he can't have a very warm heart, given he walks around going, I'm gonna put souls in people's holes. I mean, what the f does that mean? This was also the problem with CM back in 2011. While the Summer of Punk was awesome, there was always this overwhelming feeling that while WWE were happy to treat him as a top guy, they weren't happy to treat him as the top guy. There is a massive difference between those two things. That's why if you do go back 8 years, all of a sudden Kevin Nash was being inserted into things, or when it was time to give the championship to The Rock, we took CM Punk's long world title reign and we threw it in the bin. Someone backstage, one of the powers that be, always believed that CM Punk was expendable when push came to shove. I mean, if we had taken that one extra step, gone that one step further, who knows where CM Punk would be today? Maybe he'd still be in the WWE, and maybe when you did chant CM Punk, it would actually be at CM Punk. Throw in the December nonsense that Owens did bring up in his promo, and we have to right all these wrongs, and we have to do it right now. As I am saying these words, because I don't know when you're going to see this video, it may be long into the future when aliens have come down and killed us all. We are but days away from Extreme Rules. Not a massive pay-per-view, all things considered, but the next night on that Monday, it is said that is when Eric Bischoff and Paul Heyman will officially take on their new roles as the executive directors of both Raw and SmackDown. And we've got to take all these elements and we've got to bring them together to create some new magic. I mean, this week's episode of Raw has proven how crazy WWE still is, because that was an absolute mess that made no sense. But 7 days prior, we had one of the best episodes for some time, whereas during that week, SmackDown was really dull, whereas this week, it was all of a sudden loads of fun again. That is like always knowing throughout your life, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you could be punched in the face, but you're never sure when. You're going to be walking through life like this, just in case a fist comes out of nowhere. Well, if we've gone to all this trouble to light a fire under Kevin Owens' ass, and you know that has triggered something within the crowd, because you heard what they were doing after this, they were chanting, "Thank you, Owens," and "Kevin Owens," so it proves they're on board. Do not muck around anymore, and let's take KO and let's send him to the moon. No, Vince McMahon, I do not mean literally. Prove that we're now entering this new space, this new world, by making Kevin Owens one of the focal points of the whole company. Have him be a voice when things go awry or things just absolutely suck. Have him be the person to beat Shane McMahon at WWE's second biggest pay-per-view of 2019, to the point Shane McMahon doesn't come back for months, and have him be a guy that gets into feuds, wins, and wins with dominance. I get that may ruffle some feathers, but one, I just don't care, and two, who else would you actually get to do this? If you go through the WWE roster, there's not too many candidates for this position other than maybe Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn could do it. He's got the same kind of thing, but you didn't choose Sami Zayn. You don't like Sami Zayn do anything. You've picked Kevin Owens, so you picked him. Go full fog with it. CM Punk was a huge deal at the turn of the decade, so why don't we take Kevin Owens and try and drum up the same kind of support? That is not a bad idea. If you don't, you also start to run the risk of pissing off the fans. I remember how excited everybody was when the entire McMahon family stood in the ring and said, "Oh, we love you, we're going to do everything we can." But then when you realised it wasn't actually going to change, something inside of you died. And subconsciously, you didn't believe what you were being told. So if we do it again now with Kevin Owens, where a few people are like, "Oh, maybe this is something I don't know," and it happens again, and in 4 weeks, I don't know, Kevin Owens is losing to Kalisto in a 7-on-2 match, even though there's 79 people in it, you will see even more people turning off in droves. You'll just be telling your own viewership that they can't take anything they see seriously, and that all of this is just angles for the sake of angles, so we can get through another week. And when you do that, you're not actually episodic, you're just creating moments within a moment, and then 7 days later those moments don't count. That doesn't mean anything, it's kind of worthless. Regardless what you think about any other wrestling company, the one thing or the big thing that WWE is missing right now is social support. All you've got to do is go on Twitter, Facebook, or basically open the internet, and there is a bunch of disillusioned fans that do not believe WWE is backing up the things that they say. That is so important in 2019, so start winning back your fan base by hinting that you're actually going to back up on this. And if you're so desperate to get this 18 to 34 demo back on track, which apparently WWE are, Kevin Owens can be that guy. I'm in that demographic, I'm in that demo, and I think Kevin Owens is the greatest human being on planet Earth. And I think he could be that guy, and I've seen loads of other people saying it too. Not everybody has to be Hulk Hogan. If you feel like you need someone to represent the modern age we're in, why don't you pick someone utterly different? Like Kevin flippin' Owens. Wrestling is also a cyclical industry, so jumping into the past to spark the present is more than allowed, and I think enough time has passed since CM Punk did all that to try and do it again, or this time do it right, or at least do it in a way the fans will appreciate. So basically, just don't muck me around again, WWE. Don't take my excitement and bury it in the ground, otherwise I will stop watching. And you already know that's not true, because I gotta up those downs, but I mean it figuratively. Just because I don't doesn't mean other people won't. If they love Kevin Owens and they're desperate to see something, and instead he loses to Shane McMahon, it ain't gonna make people happy bunnies. If you spurn us one more time, it may be the last time. Oh, that was good. That was good. It gave me all goosebumping. Oh no, I carried on talking. Oh, I should have ended it there. Oh. Now don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about all of this. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com, read yourself some articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter, What Culture WWE. Watch more videos here on What Culture, a lot of which are about Kevin Owens. My name is Simon Miller. Thank you very much for watching the Y series, and this basically was a plead to WWE to follow through on what I just saw. Also, if you don't, you're going to make Kevin Owens look like such a nerd, look like such a geek, and not a good nerd, not a good geek, like someone that just can't do anything. He got on the mic and he challenged the authority. If the authority then whips his ass, what was the point? Kevin Owens said that himself. He's been a company guy and it's got him nowhere. So if now he's a non-company guy, a bit like an anti-hero, and he still gets nowhere, all you're telling me within the realms of the story is that nobody in WWE can get anywhere unless you're Drew McIntyre or Elias. And right now, they're a couple of doofuses. Signing off.